How many munitions, bombs, bullets? And you need factories for that. America doesn't really have these factories. Now, I understand that America is trying to upgrade its manufacturing capacity, but it's kind of slow, all right? So maybe 5 years from now, it will have the manufacturing capacity to fight this war, but right now it doesn't. So that's another major issue, okay? And then the last issue, of course, is casualties. All right, America, because it doesn't have the political will to fight this war, cannot afford to lose soldiers on the battlefield. All right? So it wants to minimize the death, it wants to minimize battlefield losses. Because if like 1,000, tens of thousands of American soldiers are going home to America dead in coffins, I guarantee you, because of lack of political will, the American people will revolt. You will have protests, you will have a lot of violence in the streets. It'll be like the Vietnam era again. All right? Okay, so yes, I understand that America has technology, propaganda, and money, but as we discussed, these aren't really advantages. And these disadvantages are huge. The lack of political will, the lack of manufacturing, and the lack of America cannot afford to lose that many soldiers in the battlefield, okay? And so this situation now determines how America will fight this war. And we'll discuss this later on, okay? All right, now let's talk about Iran. Okay, so Iran has a lot of disadvantages, okay? But I want to discuss right now their 3 major advantages that they need to emphasize if they are to survive this war, all right? The first is the idea of faith, all right? So remember that the Iranians are Shia, and as such, it's a religion of martyrdom, of eschatology, of individual sacrifice for the greater good. The Shia are not afraid to die. And because their great religious leader, the Ayatollah Khamenei, was assassinated by the Americans and Israelis, they are motivated to seek vengeance, to martyr themselves for the greater good, to seek eternal paradise, okay? Jihad. All right, that's the first major advantage. The second major advantage is terrain. And all this means is that Iran is a mountainous country. And it's huge. It's 3 times the size of Iraq. So it's very hard for America to invade the country. In fact, most analysts will tell you it is suicidal for the American military to invade Iran. It is a mountain fortress, okay? It's a fortress. And the last issue is, the last advantage is nationalism. Okay? All right. So the Iranians are Persians. And the Persians go back 5,000 years. It is one of the greatest civilizations in human history. And as we discussed last semester, in the ancient world, there were 3 great civilizations, right? The Jews, the Greeks, and the Persians. And the Persian culture, it's vast, it's beautiful, and it's deep. And that's what gives the Iranian people a lot of pride, okay? So when they're fighting, they're not just fighting for their religion, they're not just fighting for their homes, they're fighting for the entire civilization that goes back 5,000 years. Right? So these are the 3 major advantages that the Iranians have. Okay? Faith means that they're not afraid to die for what they believe in. Terrain means that the Americans will have a hard problem invading the country. Nationalism means that the people of Iran know what they're fighting for. All right? So, but again, remember, everything that it seems like an advantage can be a disadvantage as well. All right? So, let's go over what the problems are. With faith, you might have an issue of blindness, okay? Or zealotry, where you're not afraid to die, but that means that you're not thinking strategically, okay? Maybe you're gonna waste too many soldiers on the battlefield. They're brave, but they're kind of stupid as well. All right, so you might have an issue where Iran is not using the optimal strategy because their soldiers are not afraid of death. And we're already seeing that where the Americans have already blown up and destroyed the Iranian Navy. Now, anyone could have told you that the first thing the Americans would do is go destroy the Iranian Navy. So you should probably not use the Navy or hide the Navy or blow up the Navy yourself, okay? Because you want to avoid as many casualties as possible. But they didn't do that, and the Americans have now destroyed the Iranian Navy, all right? So that's the issue of faith. Terrain, yeah, it's a fortress, but it can also be a prison, right? Where you're just sort of stuck there, and because it's a mountainous region, it doesn't have that many resources. So Americans can actually disrupt your water supply, disrupt your electricity, okay, and cause general poverty and hardship for your people, okay? And then nationalism, yes, Persia is a great culture, but remember that Iran is an ethnically diverse country. In fact, only 50% of the population of Iran are Persians. Others are different minorities, okay? All right, so you have then ethnic divisions.